So in this video, I'll set up two separate networks with a couple of routers to send data between networks. And what'll be important here is to sort of plan it out. So let's drop a couple of routers in here, and I'm going to connect the two routers with a crossover cable off the G00 port. Okay. And I'll put a couple of switches as well. And I'll put a couple of computers in there as well. So, a straight through cable from fast Ethernet 0 to port 1, and the same on this side. And a straight through cable from the switch on the gigabit port 01. Just trying to make it look the same on both sides here. And it goes up to 01. Okay. So we have three separate networks. We have this network on this side, which goes all the way up to this port. We have a network on this side, which goes all the way up to this port. Then we have this network in the middle. Okay, so let's start to put some notes on here. So this is going to be, I'm just going to pick some simple numbers. 192.168.3.0. Okay. So this will be the 3.0 network in the center, and this side over here, the left side, it's the wrong button. This side will be the 192.168.1.0 network. And this side will be the 192.168.2.0 network. Okay. So that's good. So these are separate networks. This switch cannot send data directly to this network. The router has to route it to that network. So we also need to define some addresses for these ports on the routers. So I'm going to put a note right here that on this network on the left side, this will be the dot 254 port, and on this side it'll be the dot 254, but 2 dot. Might as well put that on there, 2.254. And this over here will be the 1.254. Okay. Let me see if I can get rid of that note right there. Okay. I was going to move it, but there we go. Okay. So this helps me keep it straight. So this computer will be the 1.1 computer. And I'm going to need these notes here in just a second. So that's the 1.1. And this will be the 2.1. Okay. So on this network, this is going to be the 3.1 and the 3.2. So get my note tool here. 3.1, 3.2. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so let's configure PC 0. Okay, so I will go to the desktop tab, IP configuration tab, and I'll give it a static address. So that computer will be 192.168.1.1 with the subnet mask of that. The default gateway is going to be this port, 1.254. So that's where the traffic goes when it can't find a place on this network to deliver it. Okay, so 192.168.1.254. I don't have a DNS server on this system. I could add one later, but I don't have one right now, so I'll just close that off. So on the other side, the address will be 192.168.2.1, and the gateway will be 192.168.2.254, which was this port 01. Okay, so that looks good. So on this router, notice that they're still red because the router is shut down. So let's try to make some room right here. So I'm going to have to configure a couple of things here. One is port 01. I need to give it an address, 192.168.1.254. So this address. Okay, subnet mask that's good. And I'm going to turn it on. And see how it turns green there. Okay, so I'm on this router. The 00 port has an address of 192.168.3.1, and that's a good subnet mask, and I'll turn it on. Okay, but I'm not finished yet. I still have to configure static routing. So the network that I'm going to send it to is the one on the right. That's where I want it to go. 192.168.2.0 network. The mask will be 255.255.255.0. Okay. The next hop from this port will be this port, the G00 port on that second router. So its address is 192.168.3.2. And I'm going to add that static routing. And if you look at the command line interface, you can see the destination network, the mask, and then the next hop port right here. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm going to close that. It's still red here because this side is still down. So let's configure this router. It's a lot of work, right? But it's okay. So the 00 port, its address is 192.168.3.2. I'm going to turn it on. Now it's green. You can see it went green there. Let's do the 01. That's 192.168.2.254. I'm going to turn it on. And then the routing information, what network am I sending this to? This one, 1.0 network. 192.168.1.0. I think that's a comma. Hang on. 192.168.1.0. The mask will be 255.255. 255.0. And the next hop is going to be the 3.1 port right here. So I'm coming back this way, coming back from right to left. I'm going to land right there. 192.168.3.1. I'm going to add that. I'm going to look at it. My target network, my network subnet mask, and my next hop 3.1. So if everything worked correctly, what I should be able to do from PC 0 here, so I should be able to ping PC 1 down here on the right. So I'm going to try it. 192.168.2.1. And it's not unusual to have a couple of pings fail, a couple of attempts fail. It's setting up the routing tables, and there it goes. So the third one went through. I'm going to type that same command again, and they should all go through this time. So I'm sending a ping request from this computer through the network to this computer. So it's working. Okay. Let's go from this one. Let's go the other way. I'm going to ping 192.168.1.1. And now the routing tables are all set, so it just goes right through. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. So what if I wanted to throw some more things on here, like another computer? Well, let's give it a try. So I'm going to drop another computer on this side, and I'm going to connect it. So I feel like I've got most of the hard work done. Let's go from fast Ethernet port to fast Ethernet port. And let's get my note tool. I don't want to get kind of sloppy at this point. I need to give this a name. So 2.2 is a good name. Got 2.1, 2.2. So let's assign that IP address. 192.168.2.2. That's a good subnet mask. What is my default gateway? It is that port right there. Okay, that's where I'm going to send my traffic if I'm leaving this network on the right side. So that is 192.168.2.254. And I'm going to close that. So now I'm going to try two different things. One is I would like to ping this computer here 2.1. 192.168.2.1. It's on the same network, so of course it's going to see it. The switch knows that this computer is here. So when I get a request from PC2, it just goes right over here. So let's now try to ping the remote computer 192.168.1.1, and of course it works. Why does it work on the first try? Because the routing tables are already set up to go from the right side to the left side. Okay, easy enough, right? So let's throw a laptop over here. This is not a Wi-Fi laptop. They have a Wi-Fi laptop here. Okay, but we don't have a wireless router in here just yet. So let's connect this laptop to this switch, and let's pick an IP address for this laptop. It's going to be the 1.2 IP address. Okay. Okay, well, let me set this up and I'll mention one other thing here. So this is the 192.168.1.2. A little typo there. And my default gateway is this port on router 0, my exit port, 192.168.1.254. And I'll close that. I should be able to ping from PC2 now to this laptop. Let's try that. And it's going to take a little bit because it has to set up that pathway to it, and there it goes. So once you've got the routing table set up with a path to this device, the next time will go without any trouble. So let's try 192.168.1.2 to the laptop, and there it goes. No problem. Okay. So what I was going to say earlier was on this router 0 here. Let me just look at it for a second. You know, we can set up like a DHCP server on it, but we're going to have to do that through the command line interface. And that's where all the commands will come in. So it's possible to do that. It's just not an immediate GUI option that I can just click on. So that would be handy, but I can't just click my way through to that. I'm going to save this because it's actually working pretty well. I call it PT6. And at this point, I could just add more things to it. They'll all talk to each other. I could set up a server if I wanted to. Let's throw a server on this just for fun. It's going to be a server, of course. And I'm going to hook up the server to the switch. Okay. And the server address is going to be 1.3. What kind of server is this going to be? Well, let's make it a DNS server. It's also a web server, of course. Got the HTTP on the DNS. What I can do here is I could name. I guess I could name this as web server and turn that service on. Its address is going to be 192.168. I don't really need to do this, but I'll do it. I think it'll work. So I'm going to add a record for the name web server with this IP address. And I'm also going to point these laptops to this address as the DNS server. So the DNS is a domain name server. It will serve up the IP address of the web server, which is the same address. Normally I would put like 2 different servers, but so let's just give this a try. Okay, so we're going to go back to this. We're going to go back to IP, and here's the domain, the DNS that I didn't do anything with last time. 192.168.1.3. Let's just see if it works at all. And if that worked, what I should be able to do, go here, and let's just ping the web server. I'm not sure that's going to work, but I feel like it may not have taken the correct address for it. It's like it's hung up there. Let's go back and look at this for a second. Web server 192.168.1.3. It's on. HTTP is on. Well, let's try one other thing since we're just trying things here. Let me look for just a second here. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. Yes, I forgot to give this server an address. Okay, no problem. 192.168.1.3. The subnet mask is good. The default gateway for this server is going to be right here, 1.254. And the DNS server is itself. Makes me a little nervous, but we'll try it. Okay, so I think I've got it labeled correctly now. So let's go back and try to ping the web server. Yeah, there it goes. So it's not a problem that both services are running on the same physical address. It's just seems a little odd, but it's okay. So what does this mean? Well, it means that I should be able to go to PC0 and open the web browser and go and check out that web page on that web server. So I'm just going to say web server. Let's see if it works. There it goes. So the DNS server served up the IP address of the web server, and then it went to the web server. So let's try that from this side of the network. Well, I don't think it'll work. Let me stop myself here. I'm getting ahead of myself. So if I click on this and go to the IP config, I need to tell it where that server is. 1.3. Okay, so let's try it on this computer. Let's try to ping the web server. Like the same kind of result as before. So let's look at this again. 192.168.1.3. Let's try to ping the laptop on that side over there. Okay, the laptop works. Let's try to ping 192.168.1.3. Okay, I can see the server. So let's go to the web browser and see if I can go to the web server. I can. So I'm wondering why I can't ping it. Let's try one more time to ping it. Okay, I think I had all caps on for ping. I don't know if that's the problem, but no, I guess I just didn't have a route set up for it. So I was ahead of myself. So, you know, it's not too bad once you get the hang of it. Of course, a DNS server is going to have to put that into all of these manually. 1.3. I'm going to copy that. I don't want to keep typing it. So let's go around and paste that. Let's paste it over here. So now they should all be able to go to the web server. This video is running a little bit longer than I thought it would, but it's neat to see all this stuff working. Let's just try web server, and there it goes. So I can look at things on the web server, like they have pictures and different little things that they've set up um, for you to look at. Hello world. Okay, so there we go. So this covered a lot of stuff, you know. Um, it covers how to use the router to send traffic off of the network to another network. Um, it's very similar to like when you're going across into the internet, kind of similar to that. So the switch over here got computers on it. You know, we could throw. The nice thing about switches is that they are sometimes they call them like aggregators, where they can um, accumulate traffic. So let's go from the GO2 to the GO2, and if I throw another computer out here and just go like let's accelerate that here. That little button is the hurry up button to like make it, you know, get a move on. So let's change the let's set up the IP on this guy over here. Getting a little sloppy here. Let me go back and give it an IP name, an address. This is all part of the one dot network. So this will be one dot. Let's just throw a random number, 125. How about that? So it's on this network because it's a switch, not a router. So let's try to configure the IP, and then we'll check, making sure it works, and then I'll stop this here. So this is a 125. That's good. The default gateway 192.168.1.254, I think. Yeah, I know. The typo there. And then the DNS server, I think it's still in my clipboard. So now if I go to the web server, it's going to have to find it, so it might take a second or two. It might even time out. Let's just try it and see. There it goes. Easy, right? So hopefully that is a good video. It helps you see a lot of different things. IP addresses. These are all wired connections. I could throw a wireless router in here. Wouldn't be any real trouble. Just throw it over here and tie it into the switch, and then throw a wireless laptop, connect to it. It's all the same, you know. But I don't want to go into all that. This is a pretty long video already, so I'll stop it there, and you can go back and play it over if you'd like to, and have a look.